24 episodes of this very podcast. Can you believe it? No, you can't.
What? No, I can't believe it.
No one can. It's so unbelievable that we're going to do an episode that's 24 episodes. All in one. 24 individual episodes in one.
What?
Today. That's a lie.
Yeah, no. I'm not prepared for this.
We can't go that short either. When we're together, our episodes have to have a minimum of an hour. And then sometimes they go for 3 hours. That's just the way things go.
I mean, sometimes we just don't stop talking.
It's true. Don't stop until you drop.
Don't stop believing.
We're just passing out at the microphone.
Pretty much.
By the time we're ending. Hello. Welcome to
Hi.
the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA, episode number 24. I'm Jared, joined as always by the coolest podcast host in the greater known Milky Way galaxy.
Oh my god. That's a big honor.
It's not the universe, though, so...
It's not the universe, but we don't know the universe yet. Maybe there's a kick-ass alien out there podcasting, and you're just like, man, I can't beat that.
That's the sound of Anne Ladyem, and I want to know what an alien podcast sounds like now.
Oh, man. I hope that they have Tom from Blink-182 on.
Oh. Wow.
The reference I just made.
Wow.
Yeah. You enjoy that.
I was not expecting that.
Nobody expects Tom DeLonge of Blink-182, let's be honest.
I mean, he's not even in Blink-182 anymore.
Well, that's how everybody knows him.
I know, but they literally yo, you're kind of crazy. We gotta kick you out.
Yeah, he's...
Maybe he's doing his weird Angels and Airwaves stuff again. I don't know. Talking about aliens.
About aliens.
Probably talking about aliens, mostly.
Yeah, probably.
Anyways. We're not going to talk about Angels and Airwaves today, unfortunately. I only know one song of theirs, so that wouldn't really be that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't even know any of them.
They had a song on Rock Band. That's the only reason I know a song of theirs.
Ah. Does it have him doing vocals?
Of course it does.
All right, then I'm immediately out.
Well, you don't like his weird, whiny voice?
No, Mark was the better vocalist of Blink-182.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you sing like him, he's like...
Right, he sounded terrible.
You have to make yourself sound like you're sick.
Yeah, it's like he was trying really, really hard to be Billy Joe Armstrong and just sucked at it.
God. Welcome to today's music podcast.
Where we don't talk about music at all. We actually talk about something completely different.
We're going to talk about a form of media that has no music whatsoever.
None.
Today we're going to do a new concept on the grab bag, which we've done 2 previous episodes on, where we talked about a variety of different video games. But, today I've been reaching deep into the grab bag, and it's man, there's some heft to this bag today. And I pull it out, and I'm like, man, these are books.
Books.
Who reads books these days? Being you, obviously.
Nerds.
People with majors that make them read all the time. AKA
right.
Us.
Us.
So
Nerds.
Yeah, pretty much. So this is something that kind of came out of you wanting to talk about the various Zelda manga that you have in your possession.
Correct.
And I was like, oh, hey, I also have manga too. I could talk about that. Let's make some grab bag episodes. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. So this is going to be kind of a new series. We're not going to do it every week or anything like that. Probably just every once in a while, we'll pull stuff out of the grab bag and talk about it. Like we usually do with video games. But this time with reading material.
In case you want to be a nerd like us.
Yeah!
Or you could be a not nerd and just listen to us talk about it, and then you don't have to say you read it.
It's true. Or you could be a bad person and go out and just pirate both of these things we're about to talk about.
I mean, based on what you were telling me about the one you're going to talk about, it's pretty enough that you should have it.
Yeah, you really want... I mean, yeah, and they also cost quite a bit more than your your run of the mill manga volume 2. So that's a
Yeah.
that's a thing. But I mean, that is a gray area with manga specifically because lots of stuff doesn't get translated and brought over until like much later. So there's
Like
people out.
Pikachu Persona 3.
Yeah, people are out there, translating them and putting them up on the internet for free just because like people want to read this stuff, and then eventually it comes out. So that it's a weird thing. We're not going to talk about that specifically, but anyways,
Oh, I eventually need to talk about the Persona 3 manga, but we'll wait until they're actually like completed.
I mean that's probably going to be a while.
Probably. My Amazon list is like, they'll come eventually.
Because I think they just wrapped that up in Japan.
They did.
And like what, like what was the last volume you got? Like 2 or 3?
3, I think.
So it's probably gonna be like what, maybe next year.
Well, look forward to that next year, guys.
Anyways, you're going to talk about The Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Seasons and Ages manga.
Yes, I am.
I'm going to talk about Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin manga, which I don't have all the volumes of that. There's like 12 of them, and they are kind of expensive. I have 2 of them, but I figured like the first 2 volumes especially kind of give like a good, or they set the tone in a way that you can kind of tell like this is very much different than the anime it's based off of. So I figured like
oh, really?
that's
interesting.
a thing to talk about.
Well, and actually, that's why I wanted to specifically talk about the Oracle book. Besides the fact that we just recently talked about the Oracle games,
Right.
they changed some stuff in the manga that I thought is significant and interesting enough that it warrants talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we bring these things to the table today.
To the table.
Also, I guess worth mentioning that they are releasing, I think it's Viz. They're releasing right now the legendary editions of all of the Zelda manga. So these are the editions that I'm specifically talking about. They compile them into like a nice, not hardcover edition because that's too nice apparently.
Unlike these.
Right, but it's a hefty, pretty cool thing, and it puts several games together, so kind of rad. But this one's just Oracle of Seasons and Ages.
It's a nice little collector's thing.
List price is like $18, but I didn't pay that. Thank you, Amazon.
Yeah, the Gundam ones are through Vertical Ink, and the list price on these, or on Volume 1 specifically, is $29.95. Which
buddy.
I don't think I paid that much for, but I think it's still, you'll probably pay around $20 for each individual volume. But like I said, it's hardcover. The cover art on these specifically are just beautiful, and like each volume, I think. Let me see how long this is, if I can quickly tell. They're about 450 to 500 pages. So you're
Nice.
getting a lot out of these. So like I can understand why they're so expensive. And I believe there's 12 volumes to this, which I thought there was a lot more, and apparently I'm wrong. But it's just like it's very well done, just like the presentation of it. And like you were kind of hinting at, like you do get in each individual volume, like there's a little bonus section because they basically label these as like collector's editions. So like the first volume has like 3 individual essays from various people from Japan. Like there's this first essay from, let me find it here. Let's see. Like a guy who wrote a column in like the Monthly Gundam magazine in Japan, and like wrote this like 8-page essay about like the manga itself and how it kind of like relates to the original anime. There's another one from the president and CEO of Katakawa Publishing. And then the last one is actually kind of really interesting. It's from Hideaki Anno, the creator of Neo Genesis Evangelion. So that's like real interesting in of itself, considering those are both big mecha style stories and everything. And then the second volume I have is real strange because it's not a group of people you would expect to be interviewed for a manga about Gundam. It's the four individuals that represent Clamp. and it's like a sit down with all of them and like how they talk about like their history with Gundam and everything. And then like they also like they did a drawing of Amuro, the main protagonist of Mobile Suit Gundam. It's very just like shoujo-esque looking. It's completely different than the art style within the manga.
Are the legs like extremely long?
Surprisingly, no.
Oh, that's disappointing.
It is. But the Clamp one is actually real funny because like they just like talk about like, oh, you know, we were introduced to this series like, oh man, the good guys, they were all real cool, but Char, the bad guy, he was real cute. It's so goofy.
I mean, I relate.
But like
man.
But like what I was saying, like how it kind of differs from like the anime, because remember, like you probably don't know this specifically, but Mobile Suit Gundam the anime debuted in 1979. Yeah, so like it's very old. Like it eventually did come to America. Like Toonami released it, I think, in 2000 or 2001, basically around the anime boom of that time period. And right after Gundam Wing kind of aired, and everyone was kind of like hot on Gundam at the time. One of the things they kind of did though, because like they did dub it, and they used kind of like the same team from Gundam Wing. They never showed like the opening of the show. Because if you go back and watch like the opening of the show, it's very late 70s in the way it looks and sounds.
Oh, is it?
That song is like something else. Like you should go pause this and go look that up real quick just to listen to it, because it's weird. Like I have the first Blu-ray collection of the series, and like the first time I saw that I was like, what is this? I don't remember this at all. But like that show, obviously, you know, it's from the 70s, so like there's a lot of kind of weird animation stuff to it. It's rough around the edges specifically. But the manga came out in let me see here. The first volumes of it were originally released in Japan in like 2002, and I think it was like originally serialized in 01. So this was basically a modern retelling of that, and kind of changing some of the ideals from like the late 70s, early 80s Japan and kind of the world into like the 2000s. So like Amuro in the show is kind of like your pretty basic prototypical good guy protagonist, where he'll just kind of go along with everything. And like the way the show kind of in the story basically goes is that, you know, he's on this colony, the Zeon, who are the bad guys, invade. He kind of stumbles into finding the prototype Gundam and gets into that and pilots it, and gets basically taken into the White Base, which is the Earth Federation big ship that they have. And like basically everything's kind of hunky-dory. Like he's a little bit antagonistic a little bit, but not necessarily like, you know, anything that would push the boundaries of late 70s anime protagonists.
Mm-hmm.
In this, like they basically take that same story but make his character way more antagonistic, to where like he basically is kind of like, he feels like he's being forced into doing all of this stuff, like going on missions and everything, and basically just like lashes out at everyone and is like basically against the acting commander of the ship, Bright. He basically like he'll like just snap at him all the time. Like they're getting into like fist fights in the manga, which that didn't happen in the show, I don't believe. And like he's just like he's way more brooding in the manga than like he ever really was in the show. And I think like it's a very interesting and different take on that character, but I think it works especially well considering, like, you know, like I said, this came out in the early parts of the 2000s, and like that time period, like characters were angsty, that those shades of grays essentially. And it works well for that time period, but also just like, you know, like underneath like the whole setting of like, here's a show from the 70s, it's bright colored, and it's it's about this huge war that's enveloping, you know, space and Earth and all this stuff. Like there's some real grim in this series, and I think the manga really captures that, especially like the characters are cursing more in this than they do in like the show. It really kind of like hits home the realities of war more so than I think like kind of the show does, even though the show does do that in a different way. But this is just like more grim and dark. And I know like sometimes like getting like pushing that grim dark style
it can get a little campy.
Yeah, exactly. But I think this does it in a really good way, because especially like the art and everything is just so well done. Especially,
so I have a question.
Okay.
How old is this protagonist? Like, I assume he's like teenager.
Yes. Let me look
Sorry, I
up
didn't mean to like throw you
specifically.
up
No,
for.
no, no. You are fine. Uh,
No, but I find it interesting though, like considering that he's like a teenager, probably ish. Um, of the whole idea of like an accidental protagonist actually like having some pushback against that. Um, because in some games and some stories and anime, whatever, you get the accidental protagonist and they're just like, okay, whatever. And it sounds like that's what the anime was kind of like,
yeah.
and that it was like, all right, sure, I can do this now, like the end. Um, but it seems to me that it would give it a lot more like interest and depth, as you're saying, kind of like shades of gray to it, with him having some kind of like pushback against this. Like, I know when I was a teenager that if I became an accidental protagonist, I'd probably be a little about it.
Yeah, yeah. He's 15, by the way.
15. Okay, yes, especially as a 15-year-old. If somebody's like, all right, time to go pilot this thing. First off, I'd be like, all right, that's kind of cool. And then second, I'd be like, oh, well, there's a lot of pressure on me now. Like this is kind of sucky.
Especially because like he gets into that thing because the Zeon are attacking his colony, and like he's just watching people around him die while
It
this is
sounds
happening.
like Xenoblade Chronicles.
Kind of, yeah. What was I gonna say?
No, but I think that's interesting. It's a significant change, really. It's worth noting.
It's a risky change, I think, as well, because like
It is very risky.
because Gundam is very established, especially that original series. Like, you know, they've done the original anime they did in the 70s. They redid like movies of it, and basically like that story is set in stone. Considering
Yeah.
like those characters, especially they kind of like go into other series as well. Because like the last time you see Amuro, he's like 29,
Oh my God.
and
That's
like
my age.
yeah, so like they kind of use these characters throughout like a bunch of other different series where like he's not necessarily like the main protagonist or anything, but like he's still
But
like
he shows up.
yeah, like
He's
the
like Joestar, Joseph Joestar.
yeah,
He's not
kind
the
of
main guy anymore, but he's there.
like the latest series they did around this like time period was Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. They did like a recut of that and put it like on TV and everything, and like the character is still alluded to in that
Did you say unicorn?
Unicorn. Yeah,
Are there actual unicorns? in
there is a
this?
Gundam called the Unicorn Gundam.
Does it have a horn?
It has
Does
a horn.
it look like a unicorn?
No, it has a horn, but like once it transforms into like its overpowered form, like the horn like splits off into like what it looks like a typical like Gundam crown.
Oh, I'm disappointed. If I had a mech and it was an actual unicorn, that would be boss.
I think you're looking more towards like G Gundam in that sense because there was a Gundam horse in that
Okay,
show.
well, you know that I know like next to
I know,
nothing
I know.
about Gundam, so I'm
I
just
mean-
sitting here thinking like, if I had a mech and it looked like a hot pink unicorn, like some freaking Rainbow Bright, but actually had a horn instead of like a star on its head, like heck yeah, I want that.
I mean, that kind of does have it, just at times, not all the time.
All right, all right. Basically, I just want to pilot a mech that's brightly colored and adorable. Because who wouldn't? Also, G Dragon's there in my brain, but that's a whole different topic.
That makes the most sense.
It does. It does. He would pilot a unicorn that's brightly colored. You know he would.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Sorry, I threw you off your manga talk.
Sorry. What was I going to talk about?
You were talking about Grimdark.
Yeah, Grimdark. The art, I think that's what I was going to transition to. It's very like, especially in the action scenes, and I think that's one of the things this manga specifically does well is that it's translating an action show into manga, which means you're splitting up all the action scenes going from frame to frame to frame, and as someone who has studied graphic novels and manga at one point, it's very interesting to like see like the ways like, okay, why is this frame this way? Why did they choose this scene to represent this frame, and like why did they make it for this action shot? and all of those. And I had a kind of like a feeling of like, well, I wonder how they're going to do like all these action scenes and break them up so it doesn't like break up the flow of the story and everything. And I think it does it just very well, where like you see like all these explosions happening and even in a single frame, and like it feels like a very well done fight scene, even though it's broken up frame by frame. And it's something that's very surprising, at least I thought, because I wasn't really sure what to expect from taking a animated action show and then translating it into pages specifically.
I imagine as an artist that's got to be difficult, because I dealt with am dealing with a lot of that when I'm reading the Zelda mangas, and in the sense, well, and the Persona ones too, and they're taking things that are very action based because they're literally video games where you have to control people in fights, and they're having to break it up, and it sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm glad that this one works pretty well, and it's an interesting thing to think about when you're reading it. Like, why did they choose this particular like moment and this kind of motion and all that kind of nonsense? I'm not an artist. I can't draw a stick figure, so I could never answer that kind of thing. But it's an interesting idea about manga, that it's based on like really, really action heavy things.
And I think I like the way they kind of redesigned the original Gundam as well, which is also very iconic, considering it's from that 1979 series. And the way they kind of talk about it in this and in the show as well, it's like, oh, it was a production model, and like it wasn't ready for like its full use yet. So like it has like the production number like on its chest, and it like kind of has like these like slightly like little things that make it kind of look unfinished. And I think that works so well in this, in a way that like it may not have worked in like the original series and everything. And I guess like one final thing I want to kind of touch on, briefly, it'll like kind of go into like these little color sections, like sometimes in the beginning of the volume, and then at the very like beginning and end of chapters, it'll like switch to color from black and white. The way this series does color it's something that I think, once again, like it could have went really bad or it could have went really well, and I think it does it really well. It's almost like watercolored.
Ooh.
But all the colors are like muted in a way. So it's not like,
have to send me screenshots of this.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
It's not like all this like bright stuff, even though like there are parts of it that are very bright, but like a lot of like the scenes where like you see characters talking to each other, like this very like dark and muted, and it kind of like it has that heavy tone of like that grimness and like the heaviness of like what's happening and what's being surrounded by these characters. But like you, especially like I said, compared to that 1979 original series where it is very brightly colored, and this basically just takes that and just like mutes it all down, but it works so well in a way that's like, I would kind of want to see like an animated version of this just to see if like they could still pull that off, and if it would actually work in terms of being in movement compared to this. Maybe it's just a thing where it works so well considering it's on the page instead of like on TV and everything, but the color is just so good. So yeah, I feel like I blew my voice out doing that.
Really?
I don't have anything to drink, so that's why.
Oh. So okay.
Goofed on that one.
If you were talking to somebody, which I guess you technically are,
Hello.
if you were talking to somebody and you're like, I have this book, would you recommend it to somebody who doesn't know the series?
I think it would be. It just depends, like if they like mech stuff and all that stuff and like all that. Like, 'cause, I mean, there's people out there like who just don't deal with that sort of stuff.
Mechs. Yeah, I understand.
All that sort of stuff. So like, I guess like you have to know what you're getting into. But like, if you want an introduction to the Gundam series and you don't want to shell out, or you don't want to watch the anime, which might be a weird thing in and of itself, but I think this would be a good introduction to the series as a whole, because it kind of like, I mean, you're getting that original story which set off, the tens of spin-offs, 10, 20, 30, 40 different spin-off shows that they've done from 1979 until now. So you get that main series, and you get it in a new and I think more modern telling of it compared to what they did in 1979. So yeah,
okay.
I think as long as you know like what you're getting into, like yeah, sure. And also just like I said, like these volumes are just so well done in and of itself. So like, you know, for fans of the series, like these are very good just to pick up and just like have as like a collector's item, even just that. You don't even like have to like go and read them. I wouldn't say like you could just like have these just to have, and like they're just very good for that as well.
Cool.
There is a there is another I have another volume of another Gundam series. It's called Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, which is a very good like OVA series that they've been doing over the past like year or two, and it's based off the manga of the same name, obviously, which I have. But I'm very curious to see how well that is, considering like one of like the key aspects of the show is the soundtrack, which is like this freeform jazz stuff that they put in it, and it's so good. And
That sounds awesome.
yeah, like I should send you like one of the songs in it. It's amazing. But I'm just real curious to see like how they do that for the manga, and if it holds up or if it like kind of detracts from it.
That makes sense. Like some anime are just so driven by like the score or what's going on with musically that I feel like a lot's lost. Actually, for example, I'm reading the Your Name light novel, as you know, and it's really interesting how they go about this, because they have the characters, Mitsuha in particular is constantly telling you about like her inner soundtrack and what kind of music would be playing at this kind of time, and I'm like, that's a really weird way to do this. But they're describing the actual soundtrack for the movie and like the type of music that would be playing at that point. But she's like, yeah, my inner soundtrack did this kind of song. And I'm like, huh. So, you know, not that movie is one that's so soundtrack based, but there are a lot of anime that like music is huge. And it sounds like this one would be one of those that it would be weird in a way without it.
Right. Yeah, I'm real curious to see how they handle that. So that'll probably be something we talk about next time or sometime down in the future.
Yeah.
In another grab bag.
Like I'm trying to think of like Cowboy Bebop without Tank, and it just,
or just that soundtrack in general.
Well, yeah, I know the soundtrack in general, but like that I don't know, like Bebop is so driven by it, and I don't think it would work in book form. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of other ones, and that's the first one that comes to mind.
There's a Gundam Wing, I think, manga as well that they've just now put out in English. So like I think I might pick that up at some point. But also like the soundtrack of that show is also like has very good hits and like does well with like the scenes they paired up with. So I wonder like how it would fit with that. Or I would just like, I'm just gonna play the soundtrack while I'm reading this.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Do you want me to talk about Zelda now?
Just include a mini soundtrack as you're flipping through the pages of your manga, and then everything will be set.
That's genius. You know,
It's like, it would be like one of those like those cards that you open up and it plays sounds.
oh my God. I was thinking more of like how I get like the BAP like books, and it has like the pictures of all the guys, and then in the back it has the CD and like a envelope. Like if you did that with manga, it's just like all the pretty pictures and everything, and then in the back there's the disc, and you just put in the music and go. Although one of them is like, you know, in your instance, like giant mech fights and shit, and then the other one is pretty Korean boys. So
there you go.
a little bit different, but not that much different.
I mean, people have basically compared Gundam Wing to boy band Gundam, so it would totally work.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like there's 5 main characters, and if you ever see promotional art of them, it looks like they're in a boy band.
That's amazing. I wonder if they have like the stereotypical like boy band personality types.
Well, there's main character who is very brooding and angry. Other character who's kind of upbeat, but he calls himself the god of death. Quiet, mysterious character, rich kid character, and then Chinese character.
my god.
He was very obsessed with like the having legitimate battles with people and testing their strength and weakness.
Oh my god.
But then like all the promotional art is like this them hanging out and then like posing like a boy band. It's no wonder.
Genius.
It's no wonder that show was way more popular with women than men.
I mean, I would watch the heck out of a show that's like, here's these dudes pose like boy band. Like, yeah, I'd watch that.
And they're all in like real bad 90s like fashion, so
even better. I mean, yes. Did you see Shiny? They wore 90s stuff and I was into it, so
see? It would work.
Yeah. It totally works. Oh my god. Like, I'm almost tempted to go see this just because I'm now intrigued by boy band ridiculousness.
It's very ridiculous. That's a good question.
I'm a ridiculous human being. Wow. So I feel like I've admitted some like deep dark stuff just now.
I didn't tell you this is not the manga grab bag episode. This is an intervention.
Oh, it's a problem. I do have a problem. So you don't want me to talk about Link, who is a pretty boy as well?
I mean, you totally can, because that's pretty much what we're going to talk about.
All right. So my intervention will not happen because I'm going to talk. Unless that's part of the intervention, in which case, well done, sir.
Tell me another tale of the Link.
Okay, so like I said, I'm going to talk about the Oracle of Seasons and Ages Legendary Edition, which puts both of them together. I guess one thing worth noting is that similar to how yours was, it has certain pages in color. Although, unfortunately, it's only like the first section of it.
So, like the first chapter?
Not even the first chapter. Like, that's what's kind of disappointing about it, is that it's
Well,
not even the full dang chapter.
The first few pages of the first chapter.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
What's actually kind of cool, I guess, in a way, is that they give Link from Oracle a backstory. So, surprising, right? He's a farm kid who doesn't want to be a farm kid. He doesn't like his life in the countryside. He lives with his grandparents. And he decides that he's going to be a knight. Also, random naked baby Link is in here.
Right.
yeah, I showed you this. Like, there's just random naked Link for whatever reason.
Both of our books just have random nudity in them.
Does yours have random nudity too?
Mine's got some dude butt in it.
Oh, hell yeah. I really need to read it then.
It's some real bad dude butt.
Why is it bad?
Because that's not a good looking butt.
Oh, that's disappointing. Most dude butts are... I'm not even going to continue that sentence. So, Link's grandpa is telling him that he's supposed to be a knight because he has the Triforce on his left hand. And so Link is like tired and plunky and doesn't want to do anything. And he has a pet chicken, like a little chick that he carries around for some reason. I never quite figured that out.
Just for funsies.
So he travels to Hyrule Castle to take his knight exam or whatever it's called.
Gotta go take the knight exam.
Right. And gets into a fight because, of course, he does. And ends up basically being recruited to go and I don't even remember the name of the... What is the name of the world in Seasons? Holodrum.
Yeah.
I found it. So he's sent there by Zelda after his knight exam because she realizes who he is. And she basically is like, it's your job, save the world. So, of course, our little grumpy Link is going to be like, what? And until he meets Din, In which case he's like, oh, hey, there's a pretty girl involved. I might do this. But one thing that's a little bit different from the game, I should mention, Seasons is pretty much the exact same as the game. They cut out like the dungeons because that would be really boring to read. But in terms of the actual story progression, it's pretty much exactly the same. So if you've played it, you kind of know what's going to happen. Except for like Ricky and Maple. Ricky is the kangaroo with the boxing gloves, and Maple is the witch. They actually help Link take on Onyx, because of course they do. I wish that Ricky had actually been there in the final fight. Can you imagine?
Some boxing him.
It would have been awesome. But Din totally has the hots for Link, which feels a little weird because I think she's older than him. She seems older than him, at least in the game.
I mean, yeah, I would assume that.
So it's all about like, hey, let's give Link kisses and things like that, which is really weird. But so Maple is driven by the fact that she wants the Rod of Seasons for some reason. Ricky is just like, hey, you're a pal, you got me my boxing gloves back. He's a simple man kangaroo thing. And also, I guess worth mentioning in this is that Seasons is actually quite a bit shorter than Ages in this book. But there's a reason for that.
It's because they add a bunch of stuff to Ages.
They added a ton of stuff to Ages that makes it so much cooler than the game could ever hope to be, which is really disappointing that like that's the version in the manga that you don't get in the game, and I wish you had it in the game. Because Ages in the game and also in the manga clearly involves time travel. Duh. And so what ends up happening is that Link is also sent into Librinia or whatever it was called. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. He's sent there to try and protect. Why am I blanking on names?
It's the thing that happens.
Help me out here, man.
Zelda.
No.
Link.
The Oracle of Ages.
Did she start with an N?
Nehru.
Is that it?
Thank you. They're Din, Faeror, and Nehru, named after the goddesses.
I got your back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, you get the whole like normal plot thing of, okay, Link's sent to go protect her because he's already protected Din. They know that something's going wrong because Zelda is a prophet, essentially. And Impa does the same thing she does in the game, makes you move the rock because you have makes Link move the rock because he's got the Triforce. And gains
Link, move this rock for me.
Even though she literally like lifts a cow at some point. And he's like, you can lift a cow, but you can't lift this rock.
Rocks are heavier than cows. Everyone knows that.
Literally, though, that's a conversation that happens. You get a lot more characterization of Ralph. Do you even remember Ralph?
I'm trying to remember which game I played first and second. Was Ralph like the one who was like into Nehru?
He was into her, and he's like, yeah, we got to protect her.
He's the one who's like, yeah, I'm going to save her. I'm the one who's going to do it. Wait, nope, just kidding.
Yep.
Okay.
So he gets a lot more characterization. He still has the same idea of like he really cares for her and he wants to protect her, but he actually is with Link the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So it adds a lot more interest and depth to him that he's, trying to figure out what the heck is happening. So kind of like how Seasons had Ricky and Maple as your little Link cohorts, here you have Ralph. And not only do you have Ralph, you have the greatest addition in this manga, which is Raven. Usually, and I may talk about this on a different podcast, but usually if a book or something like that adds in like an original character, I really dislike it.
Right.
It feels kind of cheap and weird. But this edition actually made it so much better, and it made the story make a lot more sense and have a lot more of a like a gravity to it that you feel like something actually matters. Because Raven is a knight who's under the queen, who is possessed by Varen, the sorceress witch thingy. Yeah, I don't know what she was. Do you know what Varen was?
The sorceress witch thingy.
Sorceress witch thingy. So Raven is a knight under her, but he's actually
a bird.
He's not a bird. He's more of a revolutionary. He's kind of a spy undercover, and he protects a village who's hidden with people that he's helped from the queen, like get away from her. And Raven is Link's ancestor, and for one, he's super hot, so good addition, super good addition. Because Oracle Link is, for one, a kid. So there's that. But two, he's such a weird kid. He I know that Link usually doesn't have super amounts of personality until like really recently. But the way that the author, I will never say his name right. It's Akira Himikawa. He wrote all the Zelda mangas. He's actually working on the Twilight Princess one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have those. Well, I have the first one. I have the second one coming. But he kind of makes this Link into like a bratty, irresponsible kind of Link. Also, he's a sass machine, which I appreciate that, because whenever a character is sassy, I love them immediately. But he's not your like really. I don't think he understands so much like how big of a deal the things that he's doing are going to be, whereas a lot of the other Links that have been written understand like this is a huge deal. I have a lot of responsibility. This kid in Oracle is still kind of like, I gotta do these things and like goofing around and whatever. So having Raven there, who is essentially like an adult Link, he looks like an adult Link.
He does.
And he's serious, and he very, very protective. And it's really, really funny at one point because Oracle Link is like, oh, I have to protect him because he's my ancestor, and if he dies, then I die, and that's a big deal. And he's like really, really goofy about it, and he's trying to keep it undercover that he knows who Raven is. He's like, I don't know, that'll mess up the timeline if I tell him that I'm like from his bloodline. And eventually it comes out, Raven's like, yeah, you didn't think I knew that? Like, like, yeah, so I was protecting you, kid. I got you. But he does like really cute things. Like there's a girl in the town that has a garden. So like Raven goes and gets her seeds and helps her cultivate them. And he's protecting people. He's like bringing them out from the tower building. Oracle Link gets put into prison at one point, and Raven's just like, hey, how about some fishing? And Link is like, what? We're gonna go fishing? Excuse me? And then he realizes what Raven did is leave him a fish hook so he can pick the lock. So
that's me just picking those locks with all the fish hooks I have.
Right. So it's why wouldn't you, right? But yeah, he's mega handsome. So I kind of loved him for that, but also he's really respectable and cute, and like he has his fun moments as well. So you can kind of get some sense of like the Link personality from Raven, but like I said, an adult. So, um, but it makes ages, for one, make more sense because you have somebody helping Link along that has some kind of knowledge of the situation
Right.
because you're in the past and you have somebody who's kind of guiding him. Um, which I mean, you kind of had in the seasons version because you had Maple and you had Ricky. Ralph isn't as
Helpful.
yes. So Raven kind of fills that slot, and it makes it really cool to me because I like the whole idea of he has to go back to the past. He has to protect not only like himself because of like bloodline stuff, but he has to protect his ancestor. But he gets to meet his ancestor because he's in the past. That sounded convoluted when it's really not. And also one thing that I thought was really really cool about the manga is that they delved a lot more into the love story between the queen and the pirate skeleton. Do you remember him?
Oh yeah.
They talk a lot more about that. So basically, they give the the pirate guy as the reason why the queen is so vulnerable to being taken over in the first place because wow. She's really, really upset that he's gone and he's missing. And so she gets taken over and possessed. And so Link actually goes and meets with the pirate skeleton guy. And he explains like they were in love and he was going to come back to her and he's stuck in a perpetual storm that he can't get out of. And so there's really no way of like returning to her. But he is able to, if I remember correctly, he's the one that explains that the mystery seeds, which mystery seeds in the game are not used at all, like in terms of the actual like fighting.
Right.
Usually. But in the manga, the mystery seeds are used to expel the sorceress lady from the queen.
I guess
Because
that's a little bit more interesting than, oh, Lacey got to go plant another seed again and see what comes out.
yeah, I mean, it does make more sense. But so you have to he has to use the mystery seeds against her, but the pirate's the guy who's like, hey, this is how you do it, here they are. So that's kind of cool. It gives him more of a purpose in the story than just like, hey, here's this weird random pirate guy.
Right.
Because it's hinted at in the game that they were lovers, but there's no like real explanation for it. So the manga kind of fills that in. Also, because it's timey-wimey stuff, Ralph is actually related to the queen. So at one point, Ralph is threatening that he will just I don't remember exactly how it works, but basically he's saying that he's going to die in terms like to try and kill her.
Not sure how that would work.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but because he's saying he'll just kill her and then he'll die because he won't exist. And everybody's like, no, you can't do that. You're related to her. Don't do that. But he like knows. So I don't know why they're saying. Anyway, manga's not perfect.
He would just be like, yeah, I know that. That's why I'm doing this.
Right. And so they clearly stop him, but it also again characterizes him a lot more in the sense that he's willing to give up himself to save Nehru, which is kind of rad. But in the end, they stop everything. The Zelda being taken by Ganon bit is just as abrupt in the manga as it is in the game.
So they do actually like connect both of the stories together at the end?
Um,
to make kind of like that Ganon thing that the game does, or is it just like, here's Ganon?
yeah, it's pretty much just like, here's Ganon. They connect them in the sense that they do like the final ending with Ganon there, and Zelda's supposed to be protected, that kind of thing. But their method of explaining is like, oh, the tower's finally finished. Here's Ganon. Um, so
So,
like I said, it's just as abrupt and weird in the manga as it was in the game. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But the cool part is you get to have like Raven and Link fight together. So heck yeah. Um, but I know that that was one of your issues with it, is that it was just kind of like, where did this come from? And
right.
it's still, where did this come from?
That's a bummer.
The thing that I really liked about the ending, though, is that so Link always had back at the farm pictures of his ancestors on the wall, and that's how he recognized Raven in the first place. He's like, wait, I know this guy. I've seen him on my wall. Yeah.
That's how I recognize all the people I know. I'm like, oh, that person's on my wall.
I know that person. So when he goes back at the end of it, for one, he shows his grandparents like, hey, look, I became a knight of Hyrule, and they're really proud of him. But two, he sees that the portrait has been like fancified and become much more elaborate and everything, showing like that that Raven became like promoted, that he got promoted and had like a much better knightly career
Huh.
because of this whole thing. So that was kind of cool. But the ending is still kind of poo with the Ganon.
Which is a shame, because considering like all like the stuff you talk about, how they change ages and everything, you would expect them to kind of like at least try to do something with that Ganon ending, but it's just like maybe they were just kind of in the same position where it's like, I don't know, just throw them in there in the end, I guess. We can't really do much about it.
Zelda's here too.
Zelda's here too.
So it's really weird that they couldn't fix that up in a way, but I actually really think that the book version of both the games is much better than the game version after replaying it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting thing to have to deal with, is that the manga of these games is much better than the games, but definitely worth reading in my opinion because of the cool additions and like fleshing out the story a bit more than the games did, which potentially could have been because of the medium, but whatevs.
So when did the Oracle ones specifically, like, when did they originally come out in Japan?
In Japan, I don't know. The copyright's 2001, which is like right around when
The games came out.
when the games came out.
So I wonder if like those were produced in like conjunction with each other, to where like like the manga came out kind of like side by side with the game, and if like the manga writing team at all had like, I guess they would had to have knowledge of like what the game was and like kind of like the basic story.
Right.
So like, I guess I'm just wondering like, why do so much changing if you're coming out in the same time period? Because I feel like it would make more sense.
Really
Like,
good question.
I feel like it would make more sense if you like, you are doing this like years down the line. You're like, okay, I'm going to change what happened in these games because the stories were kind of and I'm going to try and make them better.
Right.
But this is like, we just kind of did our own thing. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's cool, but like, it's also weird.
It's I don't even know how to really I don't know how to explain it really, because I mean they're stupidly good compared to like the game stories.
Yeah.
And so with them being around that time period, which I guess I should mention the fact that given the time period that they were created, they have that really, really huge eye anime style, which is a little off-putting at times.
It's almost kind of funny because like compare both of our works
Hmm.
and just like the art style when they were both done in the same year.
But you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
early 2000s, like everybody had giant eyes for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason. It's a lot like that. Link just has huge eyeballs, which kind of looks like an alien. So Tom DeLonge would be all about it.
That kids is what you call a callback.
It is. But I don't know. It like I said, it's weird for me as a Zelda fan that I'm like, don't play the games, read the book. But 100%, I think it's a lot better.
Let me ask you this: like, as like considering all those manga as a whole,
Hmm.
is there any of them that you would like that you would recommend to someone who hasn't played the games at all and just wanted like a introduction to the Zelda series? Is that even possible? A, and if so, B, like which one do you think would be the best representation for like a newcomer coming in?
Ooh, that's a hard question.
Because it
Um,
I guess it would be different than like introducing them to the games specifically.
oh,
Because
it would.
you'd have to like consider like 2D versus 3D, but this is just like, well, here's a story.
Um, honestly, I feel like if if I were to say there's one that people could read the story and get it without playing the game, it would be the Ocarina one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even then, I feel like these really lose a lot if you haven't played the games. Because, I mean, they're taking out all the dungeons essentially, and they're boiling it down to like, here's main plot points. Usually there's like a few of them, and that's about it. I mean, they're relatively short.
So
So,
it's
mm,
mostly like an adaptation that is definitely something you should go back to the original source material first before even thinking of tackling like the various adaptations instead of like trying to come in cold into like this adaptation and then going back.
yeah, like I said, the only one that I think may be okay would be Ocarina, but that's partially because Ocarina in general is so accessible.
And can,
Eh,
and I
I don't
guess
know.
yeah,
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say like maybe just because like Ocarina has like a lot of story to it,
Hmm.
maybe more so than the other ones do specifically, but
Well, and also considering that all of these are bundled except for Ocarina.
right.
So like this one's Oracle of Seasons and Ages, Majora's Mask and Link to the Past are put together. Minish
That's
Cap
a
and
strange combo.
it is very strange. Minish Cap and Phantom Hourglass are put together, and there's a Four Swords one, but I can't remember exactly if it's bundled or not. But Ocarina is the only one that's by itself.
And kind of just tells you like the length of a lot of these that if they're bundling them together, like obviously they're
Mm,
not going to be that long.
mm-mm. I mean, most of them, like lengthwise, if you're looking at it, would be about the size of like a regular volume of a manga. So,
Right.
I mean, they're not very long at all to begin with. So, like I said, they're cutting out a lot of stuff to fit
Mm-hmm.
it all in these volumes. Um, but as I was saying earlier with the Oracle ones, like if you put in those dungeons, it would be so boring
Yeah.
to try and read through it because there's so many of them, and like the fun of a dungeon is figuring out the puzzles. It's not like part of the story.
Here's this chapter where Link basically stumbles into a dungeon and fiddles around for 30 minutes and keeps having to do the same puzzle over and over again.
Yep. Here's Link doing yet another block puzzle.
I mean, people would
So
read that.
they would, but
Not a
in
lot of
my opinion,
people.
it wouldn't translate well.
No.
So, but I feel like Ocarina is your best bet on that. But I still don't 100% think that I can like with certainty say yes, somebody could read the Ocarina of Time manga and still get the same kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's tough.
I mean, the way that Twilight one kind of sounds like it's being extended out quite a bit. So
It is. So, we'll see how that goes. But
right, just wait for the Breath of the Wild manga where it's 5 chapters just full of cooking.
20 chapters of Link falling down a cliff.
That would be a very strange adaptation, I would assume, if they ever decide to do it.
I don't even know how you would it. The only way I could think of doing an adaptation of Breath of the Wild in a manga is if you literally just do the story bits.
Which even then, that's going to be like what, 5 chapters?
Right. Like if you do like the intro and then like the memories and then the ending, and so it
wouldn't be long.
It wouldn't be very long at all. I mean, you could literally fit it into one book.
They would have to like kind of come up with their own story around it, essentially.
They would. I mean, 100%. And you'd have to give Link personality like the rest of these do. And I wouldn't say it's hard to do because we've read some great fan fiction that made Link into a fantastic character.
It's very true.
But it would be difficult in the sense of like trying to portray the sense of like aloneness that Link has to deal with in Breath of the Wild, and like the openness and like the destruction of it in a book.
Yeah.
And I can't see it happening.
And it's just like that thing as well where like you're taking a silent protagonist and then inserting a personality into them to where like, you know, some people might connect with that, but other people will be like, well, I didn't see this character as this, so this is very weird. Why would they be doing this stuff?
Yeah. And I think that's an issue you're going to always run into with Link.
Right.
In particular, because he's always been silent. And it's interesting because Himekawa does actually give a different kind of personality to each Link.
Huh.
But he still kind of sticks with him being sassy, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
he really likes Zelda 2 Link, obviously.
Zelda 2 Link is a good Link.
Have they ever done a Wind Waker manga?
Not that I know of.
Because I feel like that art style would kind of just be like a slam dunk for a manga or something like that.
Something is clearly happening.
The cops are coming to shut us down.
I mean, I'm not seeing anything, and I've never heard of it. But you know, with Phantom Hourglass, they have one. So why wouldn't they do a Wind Waker one? Because it would be perfect. Like it literally would be a perfect book. And
though I wonder, like as you said, like they don't do a lot of color pages for these manga collections.
Don't. So it might have as well.
Yeah, I wonder, like, you know, trying to do that in black and white might just like lose the luster of it. Considering like that game is so colorful.
It is super colorful, and I think that's part of why I like it so much is because it's so colorful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because the cartoony style, it might look weird without all the color.
Right.
I don't know. I'll have to look at Phantom Hourglass and see how they did it, but
that's true.
I also just don't really like that game, so
it just seems like Wind Waker is kind of like a big exception to like all of like the manga they have out. I mean, obviously like 1 and 2 I don't think they have as well.
Yeah.
So like it's like those two, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild.
Spirit Tracks.
That's probably about it. Maybe some other handheld I'm missing. I don't know.
Link's Awakening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Link's Awakening. So clearly they still have a lot of other avenues to go in terms of the Zelda series, in terms of like wanting to do manga if they want to go that route, but it'd just be interesting to see like which one they would go to next after like Twilight and all of that, and you know whether or not it works in the way they want it to work.
That's a good question. I would like to see if there are going to be any, because the Twilight announcement was kind of like out of nowhere. Nobody was really expecting it. So I was excited because I really like Twilight Princess, but a lot of people don't like Twilight Princess. So
Zelda 2
Now we're
manga. Zelda 2 manga. Zelda 2 manga.
I would read the heck out of a Zelda 2 manga. I really would.
I kind of feel like Zelda 2 could actually translate kind of well, excuse me. Because, like, you have all those town bits. You already have Link having, like, this kind of angry, sassy personality.
It would make total sense. Because you do have, despite the fact that it's, like, a limited story version of Zelda because it's older,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much to it that you can just build in really, really easy.
I just want to see frames of him just, like, jumping and then, like, jump slashing at people and being like, why am I doing this? Why? There's just a chapter of him grinding out levels.
Running out of magic.
Dying over and over again.
I don't know. I would read that.
I would read that.
Because you know that they did the there's the 2 Link to the Past ones. There's the Link to the Past one that was the manga, and then there was, I can't remember exactly who published it.
Was there one in, like, Nintendo Power?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
But I can't seem to locate it at the moment on my bookshelf because I have too many dang bookshelves. But that one was in Nintendo Power, and they just recently collected it, and it's very, very different from the manga one. So maybe that's something I'll talk about later.
Well, alrighty.
Well, if I talked about it now, then I wouldn't have something to talk about later.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't.
Look forward to it, guys.
Look forward to it. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of talking about 2 different mangas.
Yeah, they're very, very different.
It's very different, but came out initially in the same year.
Yeah, that's
a strange coincidence, which we didn't plan at all.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Really, really strange that they. But I don't know. 2001 was a weird year.
Yep.
Also, I found it finally.
Just took a while.
It did. Like I said, I have too many bookshelves. But yeah, wow, this art style is disgustingly different.
It's obviously it was made in the early 90s around the time the game came out, and it's a more American style of comic instead of a Japanese style, so.
Although Shotaro Ishinomori does not sound very US.
Say that name again. I want to see if I can find any info about them. Whenever Google decides to load up for me. Okay.
Shotaro.
Hang on. Okay. Ishinomori?
Yes.
Second result. Thank you.
Nice.
Let's see here. Japanese manga artist who became an influential figure in manga, anime, and tokusatsu, creating several popular long-running series such as Cyborg 009, the Super Sentai series, and the Kamen Rider series. So,
wow,
a pretty big deal.
Wow. Yeah, so maybe that would be an interesting thing for future episode, is me talking about the difference in this book and the manga of Link to the Past.
Yeah, totally.
So, there we go.
There you go.
I could talk about Zelda all the time.
I am very aware of that.
I got nothing else, though. I'm done.
I got nothing else either. I'm done.
All right.
So
We're done.
Let's wrap up this episode then. For more information about manga, go to Amazon.com, where you can buy both of these books that we talked about today. It's true. I mean, we're not going to get a cut out of it, but, just for your heads up or something, I don't know. For more information about this very podcast, though, you can go to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can listen to past episodes that we've put up, like, last week's Final Fantasy VIII episode.
Yeah, you should totally listen to that one.
You should. People have been saying good things about it, which thanks.
They have. Yay, thank you.
And then other episodes as well. They're all very good. There is another manga episode up there. It's one of the earlier ones, but there is another one up there. Promise. Scout's honor. And you can also read stuff that I've written on the site as well, because that's there. For more on Anne Ladyem, go to anneladyem.com and read all the stuff that she's posted recently. It's very good.
Thank you.
You can follow us on Twitter at Anime Checkup, where you can twist or tweet at us.
Please do.
And, it's always a good place to talk to both of us instead of one of us. Don't be a capital G gamer.
It's also got some good memeing going on sometimes, especially with my cat.
It is. Loki is number one memer.
He is the number one memer. But yes, please tweets at us.
We did just recently run a poll about which was the worst Final Fantasy movie. Which
We did.
I think only us voted, so that was kind of a bummer. But the choices were Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children, and Kingsglaive, Final Fantasy 15. If you have an opinion on this fantastic topic and you want to challenge the science, tweet at us at Anime Checkup.
Yeah.
Next week, the 25th anniversary of the podcast. Actually, I don't know if that's how anniversaries work.
No.
The 25th annual episode of the podcast.
Wait, is it 25th? Holy cow.
It's 25.
How long have we been doing this?
Well, technically since September, but we've only been doing weekly since January.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
All right, so 25th episode. We're gonna go into the big boys.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. Big leagues, maybe?
Yeah, there
is
you
what
go. We hit a celebration mark. We're gonna celebrate by talking about something. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
We'll figure that out eventually.
It's my first week at a new job next week, so
that's gonna make things interesting in terms of how we record and everything.
yeah.
So look forward to that, and Al being very tired probably.
Al is always pretty tired.
Yes. To be fair,
but
Al is
Al
very
is gonna be
tired.
working a full-time job.
Yeah. I was going to be more tired. So it's like 150% tired instead of just 100% tired.
Yeah, maybe 200%. We're cranking the sleepiness up to 11.
Click. That's the sleepiness turn dial.
Ah.
So there you go. Look forward to episode number 25 next week. Go listen and follow all of our subs. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play if you haven't already to this very podcast. And yeah, we'll see you next week for another rousing edition of the Seasonal Anime Checkup. OVA.
Thank you for listening. Hope there are aliens out there listening too.